I had a little setback. I just discovered that my presenter notes have sort of disappeared when I didn't have an HDMI connection. So, but I think I remember the presentation pretty good. So if I'm sort of get lost, you can just look up and down and that way, and I'll check my computer meanwhile. But I think I managed this. I'm going to go a little bit in clinch with David, saying that Internet of Things is actually as easy as a kid could do it. Of course, meaning with our platform, it will be that easy. So what is really, I will start a little bit more back in time than David did. So Internet of Things, or machine to machine, or telematics as we call it. Telematics Valley in Gothenburg has been around for more than 20 years. Volvo is using telematics since way back for different IoT devices. I would still say that is IoT. In my way, it started with a company called Trygghetsbolaget, where I was R&D manager in the year of 2000. I don't know if anybody have heard of it. It was, a few of you guys, huh? Okay, good. So it was basically what Verisure is today, but it was for apartments. So basically what you wanted to do is put a sort of a smoke detector look-alike device in your hallway in your apartment, and it would connect through your Wi-Fi or through a LAN connection in those days to a backend server in the cloud. This was in 2000. As you can imagine, there was some technological struggles to get it working, but we managed to do that. But we were 10 years early. So the company went bankrupt in 2001. And everybody just disappeared into the thin air. I actually struggled on Google to find some information on this company where I was R&D manager, and unfortunately Google wasn't sort of around in those days, so there is no pictures and there is nothing on the web about the company. But that is where my Internet of Things era started, and that's where we started developing and thinking of how do we actually work with telematics and how do we connect devices to different kind of backend servers. Giving this in mind, we started a company which is called Barnkollen, child checker in English, where we actually wanted to put GPS units on preschoolers in order to aid staff at preschools. And I have just a short clip. This is actually available on YouTube, and this is in Swedish. I will explain it for those of you that don't understand. I'll still run it.
Vi använder oss av små GPS-sändare som via satelliter får sina koordinater. Sedan använder ju GPS-sändarna mobilnätet, och vi har Telenor då som levererar tjänsten där GPS-erna skickar data till Barnkollen mobiltelefonen. Och mobiltelefonen i sin tur räknar ut GPS-ernas position. Och man kan då överskådligt se på en karta var det. Främsta nyttan med den här tjänsten, det är att vi kan hjälpa till att öka tryggheten utan att på något sätt ändra i förskolans rutiner. Och den är inte tänkt till att ersätta någon förskoleledare eller på något annat sätt ändra i det vardagliga. Men det är ingen övervakning alls, utan det är en extra trygghet som ligger i bakgrunden. Så att det är inte tänkt att du spårar barn, utan bara att det larmar när någonting händer.
I just did a short clip on this because I didn't want it's a 250-minute long presentation. But still is what we did see with Barnkollen is, so if you have this brilliant backend server, what really happens if you just clip away the client version? And one thing that you can say about the Barnkollen system is that I would say, and I will stick my neck out here, that parents aren't prepared to pay what it costs to have a solution like this in Sweden. We did see very early a huge interest from both the US and different European countries, and there are a lot of other competitors that try to do this today, but they end up in the same trap where we did not want to end up, meaning they sell it as a hardware on Shell Company, and you get a 2-year data thing in there, and you can use it for 2 years and then you have to renew it. Volvo has ended up in the same trap with a Volvo on-call system. When you buy a new Volvo today, you get a 3-year subscription for Volvo on-call, and then you have to renew it, because they don't really have a business model on how to resolve how you renew data or how you do a subscription. I have a NIBE heat pump back home, and I don't know if I've actually been in Sydsvenskan quite recently on that, and I don't know if I want to. Is there anyone from NIBE here? Good, because I haven't got the renewal on my subscription for the connection, which is a 1.5 years overdue.
Does it work?
It does. It works brilliantly. It does. I think the heat pump needs a new software firmware, because it sort of hooks, or it fails when. So I have to actually go out and switch it off and switch it on, and then the connection comes back on. So their backend server is designed, but there is no way of provisioning me. There is no way of sending me invoices. There is absolutely no backend services. And this is actually what we see. So when we started up Barnkollen, we have apps, we have everything. We have an admin view, we have provisioning, we have how to pay through PayPal and DIBS and credit card and everything. So we said, so okay, if people aren't prepared to pay for that service, what is the real opportunity if we just see the kid GPS as being something else, whatever? And maybe that can be some sort of Arduino device or whatever, but it can absolutely use the server backend that we already built. A nice picture from internet. That is basically how we see it. We built everything cloud-based. It is an Amazon web solution today. There is security for logging in. There is security for devices. You can also get a solution without security if you want to have really fast, low-end connection type likes, or for heartbeats. Every device on every internet device or Internet of Things device or whatever, a machine-to-machine device, I say need some sort of heartbeat thing, meaning I'm alive and then wait 30 seconds, I'm alive and then wait 30 seconds, because there's really no way for the server to know where stuff are on the internet. I mean, we have dynamic IP addresses all over, and the same in the cell phone nets. So the only way of knowing where the device is that the device actually reports in and tells you where it is. This is basically our Binocular solution. We love open source, and that's how we want to move in this direction. And that's also why I find it intriguing to see that there are so many Arduino projects out there. That it's the perfect solution to get stuff going. The thing I think, and again I'm going to stick my neck out with IBM and other big companies, it's simply too hard to get going. If you want to move fast, and when we struggled with Telenor connection, when we wanted to get the Barnkollen stuff up, we had to sign big contracts stating how many years we wanted to use the service, and then we have to sign up on their data model, and then we had to buy 1,000 SIM cards. So it was getting too big for a small company to do something at all, meaning that okay, so either Telenor connection is only for big companies, or they have to look over their business model. And that's the thing with the other big competitors that we have. And also to have a lot of open source components out there, making it as easy as possible to connect to our cloud-based service. And to use that to retrieve information via Android apps or via iOS apps, whatever you want to, or Node.js or custom similar JavaScript-like versions. That's the way to go. We want to provide the open API, how to connect to our servers, cloud-based server solution. And there is an API today, and we are actually renewing it today as we speak. There will be the next version out in, I'd say, somewhere April, May, and then after that we will completely roll this out. Completely viral based, social media marketing only. and the target is to reach 100,000 devices 12 months after we've released the platform. And we know it can cope. It's been on in air for 3 years, completely supervised, and we've had some problems with the admin view, which is a Java Play based, but with the core server has failed once, so in 3 years. So we learned a lot about how to have a stable server solution, of course using the Amazon cloud with everything you get from there. Again, David was into this. So where is really this heading? Somebody say 40 billion devices. Somebody say 25 billion devices. But I think that, as he said, and I do confirm that, yeah, it doesn't really matter what kind of figure you put in here. It will be big, and we've just seen the beginning. And another problem is, of course, the networks or the carriers. They are a big problem. I don't think they can foresee this. Actually, I had a speech for Telenor a year ago, and they also mentioned these figures. And I asked them, so do your network, will it comply? Will you see the vineyard problems, as David spoke of? How are you going to handle that? You know that you only have this number of slots in your base station, but they said no. But we are rebuilding our network, and we are aiming for this, and this is in our strategy. I don't know. Let's wait and see. Money-wise, this is GSMA. You know GSMA. Famous for the Barcelona Congress. They say that revenue opportunity for network mobile carriers is $1.2 trillion. So again, you can do the classic startup math model. If I get a percentage of that, yeah, you can do the math yourself. There is a lot of money involved in this, and there is a lot of opportunities. I mean, just check automotives. They are into this already. It's $202 billion device market. If this is anywhere near correct, let's be pessimistic. Say that it's a tenth of this. It's still it's a lot of money in here. So and that's what we see. That's what we see. That's why we are in here. Yeah. So Binocular sounds great. What about competition? Yeah, there is a lot of competitors out there. A few of them are standing in this room. So yeah, we know that. And that's also something that confirms that we are right, that we are doing the right thing. Because if there is a market without competitors, you can ask Anoto about that. What is it to be in a market without competitors? It's hard. It takes a lot of money to break up a market. But we've checked all of these. We tried to get developer accounts, and we've tried to open up test accounts, and we asked them, what if we have 10 units? Can you help us out? You can imagine what Oracle says if you ask them for 10 accounts. I think you can sort of imagine that. And that was being an Oracle Gold partner. So we were in the partner network, and we wanted to access this software. But of course, the guys that we spoke to on the partner network as of Purple Scout, which is of course the mother company of Binocular, it was still in a completely different area of Oracle. So I can understand big company. It is hard to reach the good person, but it is hard. It is hard to go through these companies as to get the right thing that you really want to need, that you need. And also they built this huge mountain of stuff that you probably don't need. You need a few things here and there, but you don't need everything, especially not starting up. So this is, as we see it, this is maybe the next step or something else that you can do later. And also what happens when you get going, as David also mentioned. What we see is that this, and this is actually, I would say it's completely missing in this world, is that any kind of back-end logic isn't really there. I was at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas this year, and I checked out these awesome, cool new features and devices, consumer electronic devices. Everything from plates that recorded how much food you put on them, up until sweaters that could sense how much sweat and how stressed you are. And don't mention all of the kind of different 1,000 different kind of wearables that were on the show floor. But still, so you send in a lot of data to your whatever home-built server, NIBE-built server solution, and what do you do with it? You can access it through an app, or you can access it through a wearable. And yes, that's cool. I can actually see my own NetAtmo weather station on my Pebble watch. Cool. I can see how warm or cold it is in my home. And yeah, that's good. But what do you do with your next step? Don't you want to use that information to do some intelligent stuff in your home? Don't you want to have some other data in here that you can access and where you can do business intelligence or decision making in your own home? Look at the Sony video that David showed before. That kind of home, imagine how that would happen today. LG would make the microwave oven, and Electrolux would make the stove, and who would make the refrigerator, and who would make the television set? Samsung probably. So we go out and we bring all these companies together and say, I want to have this smart home. How do I do that? It doesn't work. It will not work, because you have all of these big companies that are trying to get their piece of that $1.3 trillion market. And as long as there is different players doing different things, you will not succeed. We will not have that one good automatic brilliant home. You need other solutions. They will still be around, but you will need other solutions. You will need open APIs. You will need open source software in order to get your stuff communicating. And maybe maybe Binocular isn't the right way, but it's at least a small leap going into the right direction. Let's see if I remember what I had for next slide. Yeah, again, I always do this as an example on a extremely stupid thing, which I've been talking about this for 5 years, I think, and all of the Purple Scouties here, they know what I'm speaking about now. You know this? Have you seen it before? In some sort? Yeah. So what happens when it goes down there? In best way, this thing lights up. That's the best way. In newer cars, you can actually have something called DTE. Do you know what that means? Distance till empty. So you can actually get a meter that says you have almost no fuel more, and you might in a few kilometers you have to walk. In a car from the 20th century, what we need is not this at all. I don't want to have this. What I want to know is, okay, Johan, you know that you're about to run out of range until you can reach the next Statoil station, service station, where you can refill and you can get you had your 4th cup of coffee, so now the 5th one is free. You can skip this recommendation, and then you can continue on driving north on this highway, and then later on you can take another exit and you can try the new Prem deal, but you cannot have your free coffee and you will not have your frequent fueling points, but it will be a little bit cheaper, and there is actually a kanelbulle for free. Because what you can do is that third parties can top sell your fuel, meaning they can sell more stuff to you using a system like this. And that is also more beneficial, because usually what happens when it runs out of fuel, you take up your phone, especially if you're way off north going to Sälen skiing, and you realize that somewhere sort of north of Mariestad this happens. What do? You take your phone and you check it, and then you realize, oh yeah, 20 kilometers ago there was a Statoil station. Yeah, and there is, yeah, okay, there is one. If I just take a 1 hour drive in that direction, where I'm going there is one actually. And the next one up front is, yeah, okay, yeah, I can maybe reach that. So that's the kind of intelligent system that we want to see, and that's the direction that Internet of Things and machine-to-machine devices has to move. We need some sort of back-end intelligent data power that can help you provide these important decisions that makes a difference in life. I think that I'm done. Maybe I was a bit quick, but I know, yes. That is actually what I wanted to say. I wanted to give a short appetizer on the Binocular system. I wanted to elaborate and stick my neck out on decision making with the Internet of Things devices. And yeah, Binocular is a subsidiary to Purple Scout. It's a project that we've been had running. And the company name is actually still Barnkollen, but it will be name changed to Binocular. It's sent to Bolagsverket. Binocular is a brand name that Purple Scout owns. Any questions?
You mentioned Volvo. Oh, sorry.
Volvo, yeah.
I actually didn't get what you're selling.
No, I'm not selling.
Or what the purpose of the company is.
It's Internet of Things Backend cloud service.
Okay. So administration, data power.
Yes,
data
yes,
mining.
yes. Yeah, sorry about that. I should have explained that more. I hope yeah. So if nobody else got it, it's a good question. Good, thank you.